Big fans still out there, giving that energy over, and they need it right now because they're down 0-2. Second time in the tournament they've been in this position. And otherwise, I mean, it's a big contrast because they've only seen 3-0s dished out to Gladiators Legion, but if it's not for that, they've been on the receiving end.
And maybe that's actually what we're seeing here. Envy have only played 2 teams so far this tournament. Gladiators Legion, who they 3-0 twice, and Gen G, who they did have that close match against. But actually, as soon as you look beyond the scope of that group, a lot more teams out there beyond those 2, and Team Envy is struggling at the first hurdle.
And this is where Envy got to win, right, for multiple reasons. Obviously, one, to stay in the tournament. Also, I mean, this is their map, this is their strategy. This has got to be the strat, the map. This is everything for Team Envy. If they fall, this is probably where I mean, this would be the greatest place to fall and also the worst place to fall.
Exactly, right? In so many ways. This is not how you want that 3-0 to happen to you. We'll have to see if they can ensure that that is not the case. XL2, of course, going to run their own Bastion on the defense first. So we also see how well Team Envy can deal with the defensive Bastion.
You like to imagine quite well because they're masters of defending with Bastion, and you'd like to think that they can also attack into the Bastion. So see how that works. Numlock so far, though, getting mega chunked out.
Yeah, it took a big bit of pain there thanks to the Biotic Grenade of Haku, but they're able to steer clear through that one, looking to approach outside.
And part of defending with Bastion and attacking with Bastion, I'll add, is actually on the shoulders of the Ana place. You can see Haku already taking a bit of an off angle. Crimzo should be looking to do the same to try and get a sleep dart onto players like KSB in particular.
Numlocked again, nice Maywall just to keep him a little bit safer. They're going to have to top it off though. Kind of weathered the worst of that. The Immortality field is down. They can just play for point pressure now, but Numlocked is under a lot of pressure himself. Good catch on the gig. That's a nice Biotic Grenade. If they can press in on that one, they could be in the money here, but either way, they're getting the space and the time on the point to catch 1/3.
This is all about Crimson right now. He's nearly on the nano boost. In fact, has it right now. The first person, aside from OG, to get an ultimate. With KSB down, I think XL2 lose this.
Is he even needed at this point? I mean, Haku's now asleep. OG committed the amplification matrix, and yeah, KSB was firing through that, but I mean, they didn't have a good way of actually attacking the point itself. They didn't have the members, they didn't have the positioning. Team Envy had already occupied that ideal space.
Let me tell you what the difference was once more. It's Crimzo, 1,000 damage. He's the first person to reach 1,000 damage among 12 players, and that was just a 1.1 attempt.
What a lad. Now that nano boost coming in out of him, and look at that. Gig stuck alone on the low ground. Crimzo, though, does go down to KSB. Who knows who the real carry is here. Now have the call as well. And with Sharp having a bit of a nap at the time being, XL2 should be able to clean up the rest of this. Blizzard does get committed for them on the defense, though, as well as a very late nano boost. I'm not sure how I feel about either of those 2 ultimates.
Okay, speaking of that huge clean up towards the end there, most of that was his kills. Now gets to set up on the high ground, nearly got the tank form available. XL2 can still burn so much time off the clock if they can set this up properly. Now the difference maker here is the fact that Crimzo will no longer be able to get a nice off angle to get that sleep dart onto KSB, much like what he did on point A. This time around, he's got to be able to angle the Bionade to try and hit it on the back line.
Tough rotation there for Numlock. Doesn't quite make it through in time, but will still be able to march on by, as will Sharp. So no one getting picked in the rotation. And by the way, no symmetry here for XL2, so they can't do the same Gen G teleport strat where they just move KSB onto the other side. This is where they're holding, this is where they're stuck, and this is where Envy will attempt to make their strike happen, and they will have the Blizzard to do so. Nice lob onto Hapical there. Team Envy going to put down the supercharger. They found an interesting rotation up towards KSB, but very quickly it gets punished. That was not what they were hoping for. The ice wall from Speedly just bought them enough time that they didn't have to worry about Team Envy piling on top of KSB. That was not as clean as it needed to be by Envy. Bit of a disaster, in all honesty. Lost a lot of players very quickly. Didn't even get a chance to drop down that Blizzard. You saw Hapical as well, just pressured out on half HP. XL2 honestly just saved their ultimates, and why would they use them? They're completely safe right now. You got to imagine, okay, Envy come in again, they don't lose anyone that quickly, they actually drop the Blizzard on top of the Bastion, navigate around the Immortality field, and suddenly that could be a point take. The problem is for XL2, they've now got all the cooldowns they're going to need, right? They can use Amplification Matrix on the Bastion, then they got a Supercharger after that. They'll have a Nano Boost. Like, they've kind of got, like, sleep. I don't know, they hold all the cards. They've got all the balls in their end of the court. And XL2 are just slowing down this push as well. Envy are just losing time as they're trying to rotate. High stakes here now, 5 ultimates for Envy, nearly 6 for XL2, and this is an insane position for OG to be in as well. Very, very clever by him. He's going to be able to pop down the Immortality field unimpeded. It's going to be Gravitic Flux first out of Hapical, obviously onto KSB, but that just gives him a nice firing line down onto Sharp, and Jaru as Jaru threw out the Blizzard as well. I don't know if that channel did go off. I can hear it whirring around and don't know who it hit. It doesn't really matter anyway. I don't need that question answered because what matters is they've used ultimates again. The Nanoboost also committed as well as the Gravitic Flux. XL2 only used, what, 2, 3, and they've still got an advantage.
And I'll be honest, MB look like a team that haven't played point B of this map a lot because they've been so efficient.
They never go there.
Exactly, they've been so efficient at pointing point A. I mean, when would you ever go to point B? I actually want to highlight something in this particular replay. Not this part, but you did see that OG on the high ground there used an amplification matrix for himself. So he added a lot of extra bonus damage in as a support player, such that the pressure, or, you know, basically it wasn't just up to KSP to do everything.
Exactly, and again, they can still fuel everything into KSP if needed. That's a nice catch.
Speedily.
Cool does go down though, so he ends up trading his own life to prevent that ultimate. It's a numbers disadvantage, which is rough. The sleep on KSP can't be followed up on because of that. So XL2, despite not having that extra ultimate in the mix here, they're still in the favorable position now, more so as Crimso gets picked off.
That's such a difficult position for MB to push from. They've ignored pushing from the left side now, attacker's perspective. They want to go to the right side, but guess what? You're now in open firing lines from KSP, who's still holding on the tank form. It's many fights in a row now where MB cannot do anything. Obviously, you're not getting any point pressure because of KSP, and XL2 are just looking so safe, so comfortable.
And usually I'd say the saving grace is, hey, you banked up some ultimates, your opponent's finally expended a few more, but the reality is, Envy have used a lot of ultimates in these fights, just kind of like trickling them out. They're closer to many of these ultimates being available, but XL2, like you said, still got the tank form, will also have the amplification matrix soon as well.
And now we're going to the underpass again, the left side push attacker's perspective. Can they actually be able to rotate on top of KSP? There's a bit of a note. Once again, Crimso is still the highest damage dealer on his team, and he's playing Ana now. There's no more Moira excuses. He's an Ana that's out damaging everyone.
There's the amplification matrix. They do get around it though, circumvent somewhat, but KSP stays alive, drops to the low ground. That being said, Team Envy have done the damage elsewhere. KSP nothing with the tank form, and this is looking like the push. Team Envy, despite not having a wealth of ultimates available, still finds the opportunity to muscle their way in, dogpile onto KSP. Yeah, he's slipped out alive, but the other members there trying to support him were still stuck in the mix, and now XL2 are the ones scrambling to defend.
We'll see if they can get any picks here, because XL2 do have point space to burn. Another 2 ticks available here, but they need members to be on here.
And now they can't get a full rack of respawns. Team Envy have just kept such a good lid on all these trickled out members. Now with the supercharger, it just gets even harder for XL2 to survive long enough to make picks happen. You see that it's
overtime
though, so quick, smart. They will at least push it by the looks of things to that overtime. Not quite able to do it is Team Envy, so that is something gained there for XL2, but ultimately Envy will complete the map.
It's a consolation prize. I'll give them that one. In terms of XL2, if you can't hold the point, you will at least be able to push this into the overtime, and it took so long for XL2, for rather Team Envy, to be able to eventually get on that point, eventually take down KSP. And all it really needed was a little bit more patience, but they don't lose anyone. I say patience, really, they need to be very quick about this patience as well, because they can't just give away members, they can't take too much damage, you can't have Numlock eating a sleep dart mid-rotation. None of that can happen. You have to cleanly rotate into the left side in the underpass, come out on the other end, use your ultimate, and get KSP off the high ground. And that's exactly what happened, but it took so long.
Couldn't have taken any longer, in fact.
Literally.
So at least it got done, right? But certainly not comfortable. However, all of that being said, it might not even matter, because this is the half that Envy are built for. This is the half of the map where they are genuinely unbeatable in their opinion with that Bastion strat. Yeah, we're going to have to see if that comes to pass, but at the end of the day, they might not have even needed to cap B if they just full hold on A, right?
So this is where it gets interesting, because Envy have already shown this strat against Gen G, where they claimed this map in their favor, started that potential run back, but XL2, they've seen that everybody in this tournament has seen that strat now. You would have learned, you should have learned. We're expecting they'll do the same thing, because until the team really figures it out, they have no reason to change.
There it is. Stand up on this little barricade. They're going to layer up the 2 barriers here. The Orisa one actually goes in behind the Bastion. You're sort of domed in, covered from all sides.
Part of the strategy here for XL2, similar to what Envy did eventually, is you need to be able to cleanly rotate onto the point and force pressure away from other members and just onto the point itself, and really force Sharp to have a bad firing angle. If you use a Ana here as all, Haku's actually going to be playing the Moira, you can do what Crimso did and get really good sleep darts and other things onto the Bastion when he's turned around.
So XL2 did take the opportunity to scout first with the Sombra. Not sure how necessary that scout was. It's sort of like, yep, they are indeed playing the strat that they are known for here right now.
Just gotta be sure sometimes. XL2 now making that first approach. How clean is this so far? Everyone is scot-free, maybe.
Taking some heat, nice hold, but no immediate follow after Sharp repositions to get the firing line on the point. A little bit of split attention though.
Sharp.
That could be the big one. They're going to be able to finish him off. That's massive. Boy. The bunker's been busted, boys. XL2 have dismantled, rather, the strategy for Team Envy. The unbeatable strategy has been beaten in the first push now, and there's so much time left for XL2. They only need a cap with more than a minute, and then best case scenario for Envy is a draw.
Absolute disaster for Team Envy on this map today. The Fort Knox has been broken. The dump trucks are piling in now. All the gold bars are being stolen away, and XL2 might just steal the series too.
Sounds like you've been planning something in your spare time there, AVRL, but at any rate, yeah, XL2 looking to snatch that one out from under the nose of Envy. This was meant to be the map where, look, if worst comes to worst, we'll at least get this one. They got it versus Gen G. XL2, I mean, they're just on a march right now.
If there's any map you're going to lose on, it's got to be this one, your best possible map. If you couldn't win here, you probably don't win anywhere. And that's going to be true for Team Envy. Sharp now looking towards that tank mode. And they got to hold so strong. You do not want to be going into that time back of the draw.
Now here's the question, right? Maybe there's an additional Bastion strat for point B or something that no one's seen because Gen G didn't get there. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but at any rate, Team Envy, if there's anything left in the pack, they've got to pull it out. Speaking of getting pulled out, pulled off the high ground with that hold. Now down on the ground, sitting ducks as they are. Sharp, though, still has the firing line. The Blizzard is down. The members of Envy are surviving just barely as these frozen members of XL2 should be easy pickings, but they're not. Barely lived. They got their own Blizzard out, and he pointed it out. Buds picking up those 2 kills, absolutely massive. They only needed a cap with more than a minute. They're going to do that and spades more. XL2
oh
looking
my
to have
God.
about 4.5 on the clock, looking to go into a time back, looking to secure their first match of without issue.
Pixie, Sharp is losing his mind here. He had the high ground, he jumps off, gets himself killed, and now OG takes down Jaru. This is completely being ruined. Team Envy, their run of the tournament might just be over.
Man, that is a hot bio grenade though. I'll tell you what, if the Supercharger couldn't do it, it's rough stuff for them, but Numlock gets 2 before he goes down. Is this just enough of a handhold for Team Envy? Is there enough rope here to keep holding on to? Have to cool down. They didn't finish off OG
again.
XL2. Man, Envy made it interesting there at the 11th hour, but no, XL2 still have Envy's number. Just under 4 minutes in the time bank. Best case scenario for Envy is a draw, but I tell you, if the Bastion strat on A didn't work the first time, I dare say it will not work the second.
Gex looks at himself thinking, is this the best that Envy really has to offer? Invincible Bastion strat? I think not, man. We just broke right in there. Everything is gone. Your vaults have been empty. Envy, this is completely just the worst possible scenario to be in. They had a 3-0, back-to-back 3-0 versus Glass Legion. And XL2 is supposed to be a team that's only maybe they're better than Glass Legion probably, but they're not as good as Envy. You'd think regular season in North America shows that. But Envy right now are probably going to get 3-0 here. They're out of the tournament, potentially as the first North American team to exit.
And they would be the second seed from NA getting knocked out of the tournament. That speaks volumes in itself. XL2, they capped point A in about 1 minute. They'll have about 4 times the opportunities here, and they might not even need a quarter of them.
And I have to say, let's look at that last fight again, because I think Sharp may just have given that one away. He was the only member not pulled off by Gig, still on the high ground, had the nano boost as well, had the firing line, had Jaru put down a wall for him. He jumps on that wall. As soon as that wall dissipates and he's on the ground, gets taken out. That was the only hope. Envy just gave that defense away so critically, and now this is it. This has to now be the best possible defense from Envy, and XL2 have so much time to get past.
Scouting it out, making sure, yep, that is the Bastion strat again. We did it once, boys, we can do it again. And I gotta tell you, man, AVRL, I am ready to send a North American team home, even if it is not the one I was expecting.
Let's be honest as well, Sharp got pulled off the high ground when we saw XL2 take A before. Haku is in a little bit of trouble here. This first push is not as clean for XL2 as it was at regulation time.
Haku survives though, that's so key, because like you said, that rotation was much more hampered than what it was the first time around.
Waiting for the cooldowns now, making their way across the point. You can see Sharp now repositioning Crimson as well, getting that off angle.
Critical thing, because this is time bank, obviously, there is only that 1/3, and you can't give up position on the point either, so they have to keep members on it. One of those members, Harpercourt, is already off it by way of death, and be at a numbers disadvantage. Fire.
That's another.
Down on the low grab.
Sharp
cannot survive. Does not have the immortality field, and I think that's got to be it. There's just too many members dead on Team Envy. XL2 again, absolutely storm their way onto point A of Horizon Lunar Colony. They're going to send the second seed from NA home in a spectacular firework build, 3-0.
The dream is complete. The upset is there as well. Team Envy will be in tears after this one. XL2, the team that could. No one expected them to be able to make this much of a difference, even if they were going to win. Probably a 3-2 victory. XL2 did not look this dominant in Group A. They looked fantastic, but Envy looked like they were not going to be able to be matched by any other North American team except for Atlanta Academy. But 0-3 is how they will exit the tournament today.
Such a dramatic exit at that. And this was a team where after the result against Gen G, you went, all right, if they go further, could they be one of those NA teams that can take it to a Korean team? Well, they're not even going to get that opportunity. Exactly. They don't even get close to that. In fact, they're not even the next best NA team here after Atlanta Academy. Not anymore after XL2 take them out.
Start to shift around your power rankings after this one. Bumped into XL2 in the lobby, and they said they had zero fear coming into the series. They knew that they had the shot to do it. And I looked away and I thought maybe XMV looked a little bit too good in my opinion. Proved me wrong, proved Envy wrong, proved the world wrong today.
XL2 off to such a hot start on their day, having to battle their way through in their group, going down to Talon, who kind of been the big winner of that group. XL2 kind of had something to prove there. They went, no. We're not that weaker seed. We're not that weaker team. We can bring it to the table here in the finals bracket. And man, they have really shown up.
And they progress forward now, still in the lower bracket, but they survive. They move further into the tournament. They are still living here in the Gauntlet, and how far they can make it is still anyone's guess. And I guess that if you want to look forward a little bit, their next match that XL2 will be playing, not today, but further on, will be the loser between Atlanta Academy and Element Mystic. So that is going to be a tough challenge.
Yeah.
It is possible now that we either get the XL2 Element Mystic rematch, which based on this performance, you'd like to believe XL2 can maybe start to take that, or it will be another North American team versus the North American team. If you can punch up from 3rd seed to 2nd seed and take them out, can you punch up the 1st?
That's the question, right? Certainly the one on everyone's lips, no matter how that one ends up playing out. And I think that's why it's just that extra layer of drama for XL2 picking up the win here.
Yeah.
It's not just the immediate impact, it's what's this going to mean down the line? Like you mentioned, Element Mystic being a potential opponent moving forward. Like, things that seemed unachievable for XL2 previously now are all suddenly on the table. You beat a higher NA seed, all bets are off, right?
Yep.
Who are you in the context of these other teams now? The possibilities are endless.
And I think it's the Group A teams that are so far making the dreams happen, right? Because you have to look at the sides of Talon Esports. Very similar to XL2 in the fact that, look, okay, we are in a space where those two teams actually were very close fought. I think the early signs should have been there. When you start to look at that, and maybe we discount it, maybe we weren't taking that as seriously as we could have, but really, if XL2 are that close to Talon, and we regard Talon as a very good team, then really XL2 should be good. But even then, I did not think a 3-0 was going to happen.
I mean, we considered it, right? You know, 2-3 versus Talon, who themselves were 2-3 versus Element Mystic, plus the one map that XL2 themselves got off Element Mystic. We said, hey, maybe Group A was just closer altogether than what Group B was, and if they're all that close and one of those teams is better, then I think that speaks volumes for what the rest of Group A could actually accomplish against what remains in this tournament now of Group B. We are going to be catching up, of course, with XL2 in a few moments as well. Not quite sure who they've got down on the floor.
It's actually going to be Bianca. Mira's going to be interviewing him today. I mean, he had a bit of a performance there. Let's see what he's got to say.